Okay, we're live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to TFC Open Mic. This is Season 3, Episode 38. So, yeah, it's mid-Bounty 14, and we'll cover a little bit of that, and then obviously a little bit on the OP changes. OP11's on its way. First and foremost, though, I'll say give it to everybody that's on with me at the Hangouts at the moment. Hey, Venom, how are you, mate?
I'm still alive.
You're still about, mate? Yeah. Hefe just popped in. He's next in line. Hey, buddy.
Howdy.
How you doing? Okay.
Yep, doing fine.
And Trouble's in. Jamie, how you doing?
Trouble? I ain't trouble. I'm doing good.
I'll start as I mean to go on. Benjamin's in. How you doing, mate?
Good, and hello, everyone.
Good. So, yeah, it's another PvE event. Well, it's supposed to be PvP, but there's not much of that going on. How are people's bounty? How are we getting on? What are you getting hit with? Anything at all? Not at all? Or what are you hitting? Ben, you go first, mate.
Haven't been hit, obviously.
Come on, retell us your story from last night, because that's the best thing ever.
I fell asleep. I had 9,990 unsecured bounty. I wake up, and I still have it. No one touched my base.
Are you in, like, Gamma World, or where are you? You must be somewhere really...
I'm in the 300 block.
All right.
Really? Okay. So am I.
I cannot believe someone didn't find your base. That's just crazy.
No one's hitting bases here.
Yeah, they are.
So few are. Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, I've hit a couple, I must admit.
Hey,
not a lot, but...
Hello.
Hey, mate. So Benji, whereabouts are you then? So you clearly obviously got 10k secured, so you did that just about within time. So we're sort of halfway through. So what point are you on now?
I'm at almost 47,000. I really have not been doing it much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just using 2 onslaughts hitting replica bases.
Wow, you're using onslaughts, are you? God.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody driving those around for a while, I must admit. That's you're doing all right then, aren't you, to be honest? So what are you hitting, sort of like in the 80s to 90s, or are you just picking anything and seeing what it's like?
Anything I see, if I think I can get in, I go for it.
So keeping away from obviously adder turrets and that sort of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're fun.
Yeah.
Even the replica bases, 1 minute they're sort of like nothing, and the next minute they're carnage, I find.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all over the board.
Yeah, they're not the easiest things to. Well, I don't know. 1 minute they're decent, though. The next minute they're like, yeah, they seem to spoil your day. I think if I find sort of like a whole stack of those in a base, and then particularly if there's an 8 count, you have a look at some of the longer range and the short range there. I sort of like move on, leave it alone, personally. But yeah, not too bad.
The only viable fleet in the bases is the Witch Doctor. Other than that, it's no good.
Yeah, and even the Witch Doctor, unfortunately, with the Rad as well. If someone's got Rad as well as Corrosive, it's not much fun for them. And the UAVs, yeah, as Wayne's just selling in there, the UAVs, if you've got like 3 or 4 UAV turrets, they are evil. They chip away something chronic. I'm glad we haven't got too many specials for that turret at the moment. I know, concussive. There's no faction for them and that sort of stuff. Thank the Lord, but it's an annoying turret. I mean, one's fine, no problem at all. But 3 or 4 of those things, and they make a mess. Wayne can tell you that. He's in chat at the moment. I know he was saying earlier on to me today that those things pepper pot you. So yeah, not too good. Jamie, what about you? How you getting on?
What am I on for point?
Yeah, how you doing?
97,620.
Oh, blimey. You're well ahead. You're doing all right then. So are you planning to finish by Sunday, or are you actually going to go right through to the end, or what's your thoughts? Are you planning to finish by Sunday?
I'm off tomorrow, so I plan on keep going tomorrow.
Wow, flipping heck. You're doing really, really well. Cool, excellent. Right, Hefe, what about you, mate? Where are you to?
I'm not terribly. I'm actually paying more attention to the base race. Nothing. I mean, I have like 15, but I haven't really been spending that much time on it, to be honest. I haven't. There's nothing really that thrills me in there.
There's nothing that's going to set the world on fire, is there? I must admit.
Yeah, the new Defender. I don't have any reason to have two of them. So for a quarter of the price, I'll pick up one next month.
Yeah, the Siren. Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, with the fact that the turrets are pretty decent at the moment, and yet another, as I've said many times before, I'm not impressed with any of the three of the base hulls at all. And this one doesn't really set my world on fire either. So, and as you said, you can pick one up for virtually nothing next time. We should be able to. That's the normal sort of like, I mean, look at obviously the last month's, concussive hull, which is there now for like 10 million, as it was obviously, last time for 40. So, yeah, I'm of the same sort of ilk, to be honest. I mean, if I build it, I've even built the last one, the Curate. Well, yes, I did. I built one Curate and then took it back out again because I didn't like it.
Yeah, but when I have been doing it, I've just been taking 2 sets of missile cruisers and just blind autoing 60s and 70s, and then not actually going into the target, and which allows you to keep a good eye on your base.
Because you obviously need to. Yeah, I mean, I've been picking up some more turrets in the FM. So I've been like doing the same sort of thing. I'll go and auto a couple because I've got 3 Witch Doctors and then I've got 3 missile cruiser fleets. So I've been doing the same sort of thing, really, to be honest. Autoing up to sort of like 90s and then finishing off lots more 120s and 121s in the FM to get some extra turrets and some build tokens and stuff. So, but I've not been on a lot, I must admit. It's I don't find Bounty inspiring and enthralling to want to keep me to the keyboard. So I've been sitting in front of the PC watching mostly YouTube, to be honest. Yeah. Anything else apart from, obviously, I saw your little show last night, and I saw the fact of OP11 upgrades are like, interesting, which we'll get to in a minute. But it's just
But as far as the UAVs, there's a visual glitch associated with those.
Alrighty.
Since you guys brought it up earlier. The concussive damage, when you put a concussive special, it does in fact work, but it doesn't show up in your display.
Oh, that's naughty, because they said all the concussive ones would work, didn't they?
They work, it just doesn't show up in your display off to the right as far as your damage goes. It doesn't, if you put a concussive special on it, it doesn't update it. But Templar told me that in fact it does work in combat.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I got some stats. I was going to actually pull them out, to be honest. Can't remember where they are, but I'll have a little look in a moment. But so I did a new sort of like maximum damage chart based. Now we've got all the turret types out there as well. We shouldn't really get too many more turrets, should we? To be honest, but I put in the UAV one as well, and obviously the dot sort of thing because they mentioned about what they reckon the tick rate for the dot was as well. So that. It's something else I put. In fact, I've got a chart here somewhere. He says there it is. Yeah, is that sort of what you'd expect? I mean, critical damage is the key thing there. So, radioactive. I mean, I just thought I picked up the key turrets that obviously give the maximum amount of damage. So, but the dot venom, in fact, venom helped me with the last one, which is the cryo. Obviously, the adder strike and the dot damage over time. But that thing is, bloody annoying. But it's interesting. I tried to pull up the although Gargoyle 4 was the turret, obviously a short range one that does the most amount of damage, which is 800k, and obviously there's no faction anyway. But almost like the damage over time, the UAVs in the concussives seemed actually to do more damage in the same amount of period, simply because they're just unforgiving. They just keep popping out and popping out and popping out. So, but yeah, I was quite surprised with that. But it's nice that Wayne's in chat as well. He's actually, if you noticed, this is on that Ahoy Mahati website of his, which we've linked into our TFC page. But he's actually managed to put the 6 different types of damage at the front. I've added on the dot one, but there are all 6 different things there now. So it's quite nice to have a look side by side, and the retrofits are in as well. So yeah, interesting. But one thing I didn't notice, we were all saying before that penetrative was 2.8 mil. It's not. It's critical is 3 million. So that's probably why a few people have been caught out with the Executioner 2s.
It's only 2.8 if you don't have R15.
Yeah, it's the retrofits. Yeah, that's why I've sort of highlighted at the top there. It's the fire support M and the thrombotic casing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the thermobaric casing 4 that gets people because it doesn't. I don't think it shows the correct value once you've retrofitted it.
Is that
So
what
if
it
you,
is?
if you take the math from what it shows you, it's lower than what you get there.
Yeah, because people were sort of picking on one particular sort of alliance, saying that they're potential hacks and that sort of stuff. And we went, can't be everybody, because I know a few people in that alliance. So we took a look at it again, and in fact, it was you that sort of come up with a figure, and I was like, right, what is it? And we'll have a look at it today. And Wayne, obviously, in the calculator as well, was like, no, it's 3 million. It's just over, in fact. And we always thought it was 2.7. So it, yeah, interesting. The one that I've still trying to get my head around is dot damage over time and that sort of stuff. You know, tick rate and all that sort of stuff. I just see 4 of those turrets in, and I just say, no, I'll move on to something else. Thank you very much. Especially if it's like a long channel and they just keep, you know, you're in their sort of field of vision for the whole way around the channel. Then I'm keeping well out of that in bounty. No way am I going near it.
The dot damage isn't hard. You just need to know the tick time, which they don't tell you.
Yeah. Well, unless you want to sit there and die a few times, you better work it out, I suppose. But you know, I tend to move on if I can help it. But it's not my cup of tea. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that basically the website now has got all 6. You know, it's got 6 different columns now as opposed to 5 before. And I added, like I say, Venom's calculator for the dot, which I know Wayne's going to work on getting in version 3, which well, he is, whether he likes it or not. But there we go. Right, good. Venom, where are you, mate? Points wise.
I'm sitting at 45k. I just took 4,500 off someone for the fun.
Did you?
Yeah.
Insect or outsect?
I have no idea. I
You
wasn't paying
didn't even
attention.
look.
They had bounty. It was there. If
They
you've
had
got
bounty and you wanted it.
pretty much.
Cool. Adam, how about you, mate? Where are you two at the moment?
I'm sitting on 11,000.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and it's because I hate bounty and I hate this event.
It's awful, isn't it? I don't like it either.
Yeah, it's horrible. And, you know, logging in is like having a root canal. So,
That's brilliant.
yeah, so that says it all.
Logging in is like a root canal. That's funny. Yeah, it is. I mean, bounty is not inspiring, but the problem is for me, it's a means to an end. Because, well, not means to an end, but it's about keeping. You know, if I see this game as a bit of a marathon. No, more than a marathon. In fact, it's probably the longest marathon going. But if you do take too long a water stop, you know, you get sort of left behind with the main group, and then catching up is obviously a slog, isn't it? So I do enough in bounty. I do a bit more in the raid, but enough in bounty to make sure I'm sort of there. And I'm the same sort of thing as Hefe. I didn't bother taking the holes in the last bounty because I looked at them and thought to myself, they don't inspire me, but I will pick them up this time. You know, just because then I've got them.
So what's the verdict on this new Defender?
I don't see it as anything any special, and it's not going to change your life in any way, shape, or form compared to the Wardens that you've already got. And most people are still carry on sticking, you know, Conqueror holes in their bases, and because until the refactor comes out, you know, collect the hole, don't collect the hole. But
has anybody really tested how effective some of the new countermeasures are? Because the really big difference is that the Warden had a countermeasure reload of plus 25. The Curator is 125, and the Siren is 225.
The problem is they're great, but because they've only got so many weapon slots, and because obviously a lot of people are just going, oh, forget that, I'll just drive past things with things like, you know, scattergun things. You can't afford to put those things in your base anyway. I don't think you can.
No.
I don't know.
There's really not much point to that. The only thing it's actually decent at is short-range countermeasures for items that have high reload, high projectile speed. Since it's got 225% countermeasure reload on it. Other than that, it's poor. The DPS compared to basers is just pathetic.
I mean, yeah, and we mentioned in the chat, I'd like to see, you know, at least 2. I'd like to see the same amount of countermeasure slots on, you know, the Warden as we did some of the older holes in the tier 6 set, you know, when the behemoths came out and that sort of stuff. You know, if we had the same sort of thing as a behemoth, you know, and it was a warden with the same warden stats, you know, then that would be a really effective countermeasure ship, because then you could load it up with 3/4 of countermeasures and then or 3/4 normal weapons and then the countermeasures on top. So it's a dual fire, which used to work pretty well on some of the behemoths. But this latest set, they are strong. Yeah, of course they are. There's no problem. But the problem is, you're just like, well, I'm not going to target it. Even if you put an EMP pulse on it, you go, well, I'll target something else around it, and then I'll just drive past the damn thing. You know, it just makes you look an idiot. So,
well, except for the EMP pulse is easily countered.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Most of
Somewhat, yeah.
What?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay. Yeah, with the cold snaps, if you have several cold snaps in your base, it tends
turns
to
it
shut
off.
them. Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking in the defensive mode, you know, the wardens, you know, and that sort of stuff. If you put EMP on them, which is nice, but then people just target other things and drive past the warden, so it's not getting affected, you know. Well, that's the experience I've had anyway. Someone's, you know, targeted I had an onslaught in there, and they were targeting the onslaught, which had slowdown on effect on it, you know, and then they just drove past it.
People don't waste time targeting defense ships anymore. Everybody
blitz fast, yeah.
Yeah, everybody tries to sneak around them, and they have a couple of slothers in the back waiting for, you know, for 1 or 2 ships to make it, and then take out the OP, and that's it. Nobody actually cares about taking out, you know, sometimes after they're done, they might just for fun try to, you know, hit them, but generally people just try to sneak around them. Nobody's going to waste time with the crazy amount of deflections and crazy amount of armors around.
It just wastes time as well, doesn't it? I mean, the last 2 people that did prime my base, by the time they got the guard out, they got up to the OP, they ran out of time.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens.
And yeah, well, yeah, it is what it is. And that's the problem. I mean, that's even funnier in, you know, I don't know if many people aren't doing it, but normally, because some people are struggling to get, you know, the right amount of uraniums nowadays on the lower levels particularly. But when you obviously, it's the age-old thing, isn't it? If you get that 75% defense bonus on the OP, you know, if you're trying to get someone's fleet out of their base, which is hard enough during just normal 9 to 5, 7 days a week, but during bounty, you know, to kill that OP and the warehouses and that sort of stuff around it, it's just a nightmare. You know, and that's, you know, that's why I don't tend to bother doing too many big bases. You know, even unless it's got a massive, you know, I did catch a couple last time, not this bounty, but last time I caught a couple of 3,000 and 4,000 ones. You know, particularly if you sort of get on the time where obviously the you know the day changes and they're going to get their extra 1,000 for the base taps and that sort of stuff. It's, you know, you can catch people out. But
you think about it, repair-wise, it's quite expensive, because if you're going to send the doctrine is 3 witch doctors and 2 slothers. Okay, you try and sneak the slothers around the guard until they get to the OP, and then you send the slothers around and take out the OP. So repair-wise, it's quite a bill for a single base.
It is, yeah, and unless it's worth a lot of money, you know, a lot of points to you, then obviously there's no point doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's otherwise you can just go and hit. You know, I managed to hit, I think, 4 in a row, the biggest ones, and I'm only using gluts, you know, and just literally going into anything between 120 and 129. I'm just going with gluts, as long as it doesn't have a portal in there, you know, that's obviously going to detect the subs. I just auto the down thing until it rises and then take it out and then just do it. Take 3 runs and I get 800, you know. So every sort of like 6 or 7 sort of like, you know, I don't know, 15 minutes, I can probably get 1,500 points, which is not too bad really, to be honest. I'm getting sort of 800, 700, 600s regularly all the time now. But yeah. I don't know. Anyway, prizes in the flipping bounty. What have we got then? So the CMCTOC, God, how many little abbreviations are you going to have now? So CMCTCO reloader. Blimmin' X. So it's concussive reloader and a scattergun reloader. That's a mouthful, that flipping thing, isn't it? Good God.
I don't see any slides.
Let me just... No, I was just reading off actually the screen, but I can share it. Hang on 2 secs. Let me have a look. There we go.
Yeah.
This is just off Kickstarter's website. So Yeah, sorry, I was just adjusting for Venom's volume, just turning up a little bit there because it was a bit quiet. So, speak, Venom. How's that now?
Is it any better?
I'm hoping so.
bit.
Good. Well, we're virtually there on that. Anyway, I can turn up a bit more. I've got a little bit. There we go. We're on. I don't want too much mic gain. That's the problem. It just go a bit funny otherwise. Yeah. So that's another one of those funny reloaders. So we're getting a sort of series of those now, aren't we? So concussive, as you were saying, reloads 45 and scattergun reload and countermeasure reload in general, which is interesting. So actually, it's a perfect weapon, isn't it? Then for putting on a ship that's got like enough slots to have plenty of weapon slots on it as well as the countermeasures. But the problem is we don't really have the ships to do that. Well, we do, behemoths, but they're not going to survive 5 seconds. So,
Well, I'm
so
wondering what it stacks with scattergun wise. So if it stacks with certain specials, you can up your DPS of
on certain ships,
Yeah.
just stick it on and forget the countermeasure part and just actually slam it on anyway. Yeah, that'd be quite interesting actually. Yeah, because 45% reload is pretty nice, isn't it? Weapon weight's 45 though.
Yeah, and I wonder if it goes on your mega drones. It should.
Pretty heavy though. Weapon weight of 45. That's one of the biggest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, what else have they got? Let's have a look. What was the other thing? Oh, yeah, that was the hull. I mean, I don't think the hull's going to set anybody's. Yeah, you were saying about the countermeasure reload at 225, which is nice, you know. And it's already saying that, you know, I mean, how many weapon slots has this thing got? What does it say? 8. Yeah, it's not enough, is it?
No, it's not.
I mean, it's great, you know, concussive damage 50%, corrosive damage 50%. It sounds really funky, but if it had like 16 to 18 weapon slots, you could use up, you know, probably 10 of those then on weapons themselves to take out something like an onslaught or a warden or that sort of stuff, you know, witch doctor, and then use the other 6 or 8 or whatever you've got left over then for the countermeasures. And this thing would be phenomenal when people have to, you know, like we used to do with the old, you know, flipping toilets in there. You know, if you saw those when they first came out, you're like, whoa, hang on a minute. You know, they're a bit concerning, those things. None of this new series does anything for me at all.
It's all a vanilla thing.
It is. Well, don't you look at it when you go into a base? You go, "Oh, that's nice. He's got 3 of those stupid defenders." That's how I look at it. And then all you got to worry about is a few turrets. You know, because if he's got 3 of those things in there, you know, and you just go and pick a ship that doesn't have anything that's going to be affected by, you know, the countermeasures. Oh, that's my version anyway.
The main problem with the defender hulls is, yes, they've got rather decent stats, but they're not good enough. You're putting this thing up against witch doctors. That's the main counter it's for. It's supposed to face witch doctors, but a witch doctor has a much higher DPS than that, and you're going to have 3 witch doctors versus it at one time. So it doesn't compete with one, and you're putting multiple up against it. It just doesn't hold.
I mean, you know, it's the strongest one. Its base armor's, you know, in fact, it's the same again, isn't it? It's the 2.3 million, you know. But you can, I don't know. I just.
And why does it need 562,000 concussive and corrosive deflection? With nothing that does anywhere near close to that.
On a ship itself, yeah, you're right. Yeah, because ship-based weapons, FVF basically, ship-based weapons it doesn't work like it does against turrets. I get it against turrets, but it's not going to work against ships. It's just I don't know.
It feels like it's detached from the reality of what ships can do.
The reality, yeah. And there's the other one, you know. So you know. I mean, this one is okay. Add some corrosive deflection and concussive deflection, so that's quite interesting. It acts like a sort of like a mini plate and its own sort of mind, but meh, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's another meh sort of thing, isn't it? To be honest, I mean, I you know, I don't know.
If we just go back to the defender hull, if they've brought this out to counter the previous baser hulls, why has it got no stun resistance on it? Surely at this point, after the release of the EMP, you would think that they'd start putting a little bit of stun resistance
Well, I think
on the whole
they
itself.
envisage EMP going in defense, not in attack.
Yeah, the EMP.
We'll come to that in a second. So I think the EMP was envisaged to come in defense holes and not necessarily on attack holes. You know, but well, I don't know actually, to be honest, because obviously they stun turrets, and I mean we saw that picture someone putting up the other day, and obviously all the wall stuff and all that sort of stuff. You know, they're great in there, but the problem is, it's you know, I mean, I thought it was going to be really, really good in the defense concept, you know, and then literally I was looking at the weapons that were coming out, and as soon as that scattergun weapon came out for that flipping witch doctor, I thought, well, that's great. Now what are we going to do? I mean, yeah, there are some stuff in there now that sort of like, you know, negates certain things, but even as the ships that are attacking, you do not need to, you know, kill that defensive fleet. You just need to bypass the damn thing. I mean, it's just pointless. So even if you're not killing their hulls, you're still going to win. It's frustrating as hell. I find it. Yeah, I think they really messed up this time. I must admit, on defensive hulls particularly. I was hoping, you know, an upscale Behemoth 2 and that sort of stuff with, you know, all the right oomph behind it. Especially after we saw the last time we saw the Hopes and those sort of stuff, you know, all those weapon slots, and then we're going back to baseline of really underpowered, but very strong, but very underpowered, you know, triplicate of hulls.
Nick and chat nailed it on the head. Until someone at Kixeye actually tries playing the game, it will be crap.
Yeah, I can't comment because I don't know who does and who doesn't. I know who's saying they are, you know, but you know, we had certain individuals saying, yeah, I'm going to put my base in the shape of a such and such before, haven't we? And we all like sort of like had that exclamation, yeah, really? You don't play the game, do you? Because that's not going to work. You know, the ever decreasing circle is the way to go. It always has been, and it has been for an awful long time. Protect your OP at all costs. You know, it's putting an open, you know, attacking concept from all sides with an OP in the middle is pointless. You know, but yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. Bounty. Whatever. What else have we got prize wise? Let's have a look. Is there anything worthwhile? Yeah, there is a couple of things actually which I quite like. The fact that there's obviously a half-day build token, that's always a bonus to get, isn't it? Bit of a rubbish price, but, you know, to be honest, at least it's useful. And the other thing I do like as well is we can have 5 more of the TAC modules, can't we? Because, you know, it's the TAC modules are up to 15 now?
Yeah.
We were stuck on 5 for ages, weren't we? And they finally, at long last.
Does anyone actually use them TAC modules anymore?
I do.
Yeah, the tactical focus, there we are. I use a lot of the other ones, I must admit, but only because I didn't have enough of the TAC focus. So they are good. Pretty much, we've got that many ships driving around at the moment that don't have any TAC on them, top TAC models at all. That even if they're half good, they're still better than nothing. So they're quite decent.
Something that interests me in the prize list is that new trap for the portals.
Yeah, we can come down to that. Which is that horrendous. So I got a funny feeling this is going to really annoy people that have got, unless you kill it off first, this is going to annoy people that have got obviously sloths. Because mortars are going to hit this thing, and obviously then a little bit like what the Hope does. You know, this is going to basically chip away at them and probably knock them out, to be honest.
Why do they hate sloth drivers?
Because the sloth's too old in the game now, they want to get rid of it. That's my interpretation. You know,
this looks promising.
Why aren't you building the latest, greatest, and driving around, basically blitzing everything, you know, and dying and spending lots of money and that sort of stuff? When actually you can have 1 or 2 hulls, 3 or 4 sloths, and do it for the cheap, like we do, because you haven't got to. Well, you didn't need to arm them and that sort of stuff. So they were even if they got caught, they cost virtually nothing to fix. So, but yeah, this is gonna. Really
promising. It should help with the slotters.
Well, the Thorns effect will, without a doubt. You know, cooldown time is 30 though, but the duration is 20. You know, it's going to annoy people, I think, quite a lot. To be honest, no more armor points than any of the other ones, I must admit. And as Ren was saying, and I think he probably mentioned it last night as well, but I'm surprised the OP11 coming that there's no upgrade to our traps in you know, obviously sort of like, you know, armor points and power.
Our portals. Yeah.
Yeah, our portals. Sorry. Yeah. I'm surprised they're not getting a bit of a boost, because they basically don't take hardly anything to kill them these days. So.
Well, except for they haven't released any defensive stuff, so I can see it coming out with the towers.
They've missed something very key with this new OP coming out. They've increased the armor dramatically on it, which is going to completely wreck your bubble points.
Mm.
I don't think so, because well, go ahead, finish your point.
Well, it is going to make it dramatically. You want to have a more amount of turrets at your gate now, at your front door, and you're losing firepower then by doing that. So you have to you're taking your stuff from your island out and putting it into the channel again.
Most mature bases that have the ability will have the ability to upgrade to OP11 have about 125 million plus armor health points. This upgrade is going to add 3.6 million, and then once we get to the War Academy, that gets an increase of 2.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put that out front, you're not. I don't think you're going to see that big of a difference if people can't drive right past it. And then also you have 1.5 million associated with each one of the resource generators. So they've thought about it. It's just
it's like 3 turrets, isn't it? Is it roughly 2 generators, and then obviously with the building damage going up by 3 million armor, that's basically 3 turrets you can pull back to the center, I think, at current stats.
And so it's sort of balanced. I just don't. The problem is the transition time period, because of the long build times associated with or upgrade times associated with this, is going to throw people's bases out of whack temporarily. But I don't think over the long term. But it feels a little weird that they're doing this whole refactor while everybody's bases are in chaos. I don't quite understand the release of OP11 while they're trying to do this, figure out this refactor. It just seems like an odd testing environment or tuning environment for them to be using when everything's in a little bit of chaos. It just seems like it would complicate matters.
Hefe, everybody, what do you think? Right? I mean, I said last week on last week's show that I'm hoping that OP11 didn't come through until January. Okay, I either said it on Tuesday's show or last week. I can't remember what it was, because we're not ready. I mean, when we all sort of generally agree on that, we are not ready. So basically, what they've done to me is they've gone, no, it's got to come out now, because otherwise that's going to set next year back as well, because it always comes out roughly this time of the year. So all they've done is gone, right, here's everything about OP11, but what we're going to do is take out all the other stuff that's actually going to be really worthwhile in the relevant reasons of why you get an OP upgrade. You know, the more defensive stats and that sort of stuff, you know, and the more base power, the more tiles, the more, you know, the turrets and all that sort of stuff, and the more killing capability and scope. So, you know, the dock, I mean, we'll go into the OP stuff in a minute, but the dock upgrade, you know, getting double the amount of weight allowance and that sort of stuff, you know, the storage capabilities, you know, going up to, you know, to 60. And I mean, there's lots of things coming, which is nice. You know, upgrading actual shipyard is a bit of a flipping pain, you know, your original one, so your original shipyard, because we're in the middle of a cycle change, and all of a sudden this is coming out on the 25th, and then we're going to, you know, you're going to upgrade your shipyard. I don't think you are. You'd upgrade your dock because you can do that anyway, but you're not going to upgrade your shipyard because who's in the middle of building, you know, skirmisher holes? So unless you're going to coin the darn thing, there's no way I'm doing that. But it just seems like this is being forced upon us now. You know, it's coming out, sod you lot, because otherwise it's going to muck up our cycle next year if we don't do it.
Now I'm starting to wonder, are we going to be able to use base parts to upgrade these?
Nah. Didn't last year, did they? That won't, no chance.
Might
be a couple of TLCs with some tokens, or you'll be able to buy some token packs, because that's what they did to us last year. But there's no way you use base parts for this. No way.
Well,
you can't. I got confirmation from Robot on that a couple of days ago. But there's but last time we did this, there was a TLC that gave us like 5 or 6 7-day build tokens. Was it that for OP 10 or 9? I forget which one it was, but I remember doing this, and some people had spent their tokens early, and I'm like, there's got to be a reason they're giving us all these 7-day tokens, and I held on to them, and a lot of other people did. Was that OP9 or OP10? I can't recall. Which, but does everybody know what I'm? Remember,
Yeah, I
recall
remember
what
that
I'm
there was a
talking
series. Yeah, there was a series that you could come out and you could stack them up, couldn't you? But I can't remember which one it was, to be honest.
I know I've got conquest yard tokens.
Yeah, and those are going to be helpful. I mean, because it's it looks like with at least the amount I have, I can instantly upgrade my conquest yard, but not my shipyard.
Yeah.
Well, that ties. I mean, we'll jump to that now because it's a good time to do it, and we'll just we'll stick this up on the top. So just while locking it. Like I said, I'm just using kick size pages. I didn't. Why is it flashing? I've no idea why. Is it flashing you there?
Yeah, I think a couple people on YouTube are having
That's
epilepsy.
almost like saying, "Hey, look at this." It's not that exciting. I can promise you. I have no idea why it was flashing like that. Oh dear. Anyway, yeah. Warning. It's all about to blow up. I like the artwork. That's probably the best bit. But yeah, I mean, yes, you can have more resources. You know, Ren's done a video and that sort of stuff. And I know Heffy, you went through it last night as well. I mean, basically, apart from there is good in it. You know, you can do the upgrades. You know, if you want to do the warehouses and that sort of stuff, you know, those generators in the back and that sort of stuff. And like you say, with the building upgrades, you can balance your base back out again. You can do it. You know, if you're committed to doing the amount of days of build tokens that's required. So for some people, they're going to have, and there'll be the coiners out there who'll go coin your base, coin this, coin that, and all of a sudden you won't be able to break it. You know, they'll have an OP that's like it's on permanent, sort of like, you know, permanent bounty all the time and that sort of stuff because it's got the extra armor points. You know, and they'll have warehouses and a ship. You know, I mean a dock for God's sake. How many armor points is the dock getting? Isn't that going up to like 1 million or something?
Well, you can put enough plates on it to make it about 1 million.
Yeah.
But those don't count towards your plates. Armor that you add doesn't change your bubble pad.
No,
only
but
inherent armor. Oh, you're just talking about as far as
just the annoyance
how
of
easy-
being targeting, how to being target savvy. Then you know, as in like, you know, if it's in the wrong place and the ships are auto targeting that sort of stuff, you got to make sure you're not targeting that by error. So it's just encroaching on times and that sort of stuff. You know. I mean, in some respects, it's going to annoy some people because it'll be harder to kill people's dock. You know, I mean, we could do some new rockets now, couldn't we? We need a bunker buster of 1.2 million now, don't we? I think.
Don't give them any ideas.
Just to annoy people again. Do you remember those people you couldn't actually hit them because they were forever bubbled? You just go in and just go. They used to snipe the death out of you. You just go in there with a bunker buster and take it their dock and just keep doing it, or at least we used to anyway. We'd all rotate it, take it in turns, and every sort of like, you know, half an hour, just go in there and just keep popping their dock. So
yeah, that's the reasoning behind the long repair time on the launch pad. Is because of that. Because of, you know, that happened really early on. People were doing that because back when it had like a 2-hour repair. So the solution was the person that keeps on going in there and bunker busting your dock, you bunker bust their launch pad, and now it's out for, you know, I don't know what the repair time at one point I think was close to 48 hours.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Brought it down. They have brought it down somewhat, but it does seem really high considering.
I mean, in my days when I used to be an aggressive alliance leader and that sort of stuff, I used to get everyone to have at least one bunker buster or two, and then we'd rotate through the 40 or 50 people, and everybody go and do it every half an hour and just keep it going for days on end.
That's evil, man.
Yeah, it is evil, but sometimes some people need it.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
It is evil. You're right. It's a shitty thing to do. When some people are arseholes, you just got to be
It's
arsehole.
a pirate game. Anything goes.
Yeah, but I'm a nice person these days. I don't do that sort of stuff anymore. But you know, it's still available to those.
Do
Yeah.
their DAC and LP.
Say again.
Do their DAC and LP.
Yeah, that'd be quite good. So so Wayne's actually just done a little bit of thing. They said, "What's that inbuilt armor and that sort of stuff?" So that's a huge figure. In chat, he's got there. What's that? 10 million, 100? What have you got there? How many armor points is it? 102 million. So what you got there? Is it?
No, 10.2 million.
10.2, isn't it? Anyway, how many zeros have you got there? Can't see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, 10.2 million. Blimmin' heck. So that is quite an increase, isn't it? What's the
3.6 million increase.
What's your up total? Because a lot of people are running out of base power, aren't they? They said what the total base power is going to be.
The same.
No change at all in base power capability. So
Yeah.
Mm.
How are we going to kill bases in Bounty?
Well, this time next, because Refractor's not coming for like 6 to 8 weeks, so basically the end of the year, because it's going to be the latter, I do believe, based on past history, you know. So yeah, next bounty is going to be real fun, isn't it? If someone's done their OP upgrade, and especially if they've done their OP upgrade and then the base is, you know, cloned and that sort of stuff, and you go into it thinking, oh yeah, it's a normal level 100 and such, you know. Well, God forbid he's down in the 90s and he's done his OP and a few other things. You'd be like going in there thinking you're right, smug and clever, and I'll just quickly grab this one, and all of a sudden it's like time's out on you. You know, you won't be able to kill the dock, and you will, but it'll take you longer, and you know the OP will take that much longer, and it'll be interesting, to be honest. And then add 75% on real bases, because obviously that's what you can do on top of that if you use up all your uranium twice. You just don't have a chance.
Yeah, and I think you're going to start seeing this stuff at lower levels, because with the base race campaign, it's not costing them resources gathered or spent to upgrade all those levels. So it's keeping them at the same level, but allowing them to increase their outpost without spending resources. So you're going to see some people at much lower levels that completed this base race than you would expect, having much higher technology because of that TLC that's out there right now. Because it's you know, at those lower levels, that amount of resources definitely bumps them up.
Thank you for bringing that TLC up. Why did they lock dragons out of doing that?
And Zealous I must admit, I think that's crazy. Why the Zealous wasn't allowed in there? You know, I get a lot of people recycled, you know, and thought, I'm done now. My dragons are in good position, you know, and I'll get rid of my icebreakers because I was running out of space in my dock. I can do FM now. I can do the 120s. I'll suffer the damage, but at least I can do them in one complete cycle and get my 6 million points. And, you know, I've got all my tokens and away I go sort of stuff, you know. And all of a sudden they lock something out, which some of those tokens there, even no matter what level you are very handy to have. And now people are like, yeah, great. Can't do it, you know. Even if they manage to keep, you know, I mean, there's certain, obviously, you know, mort chuckers out there and that sort of stuff, even though the flagship was pump. But Zealous were the king, you know, and they can't go into the damn thing. And icebreakers are the, you know, the go-to. I think it's nuts, to be honest. Especially when the base level is what, OP6? Is it start at OP6, the first one? I don't even think people would have that ship. They would have probably, you know, probably Zealouses because they're in tier 1, 2, and 3 and that sort of stuff. And obviously, you know, or Punishers and that sort of stuff, and Citadels and those sort of things, you know.
But the icebreakers are available. Aren't they available at a fairly low level?
They're available at a low level, but you try getting the flagship, you know, and they're pretty rubbish without a flagship.
Well, I know the flagship was offered in the FM for the lower levels for a while.
Yeah.
At what tier?
It was tier 3.
But they took it.
But it's gone away again, hasn't it? It's not there now, is it?
No, it's gone now. They took it away about 2 months ago.
See, I see things like that. Okay, so things that I mean, this is going to be a complete tangent, but we may as well do it, to be honest. Things like, and I sort of said this before, things like look at the campaigns they've got. You know, they've got certain ones that get you certain fleets. Now, these are the standard ones that have been there since day dot. So 8 years ago, you know, they started going, right, let's get rid of Blackwater days. Let's add some things, these towers, you can do these campaigns. So there was one for doing bases and there was one for doing, and we all sort of like got rid of all these sort of like, you know, campaigns and that sort of stuff. And people are still doing them today. The problem is the holes are just a waste of time. I mean, do the same sort of campaigns, but if they're able to win Icebreaker and then win Skyfire, win Phoenix, win, I don't know, flipping some sloths and some Fangtooths. Yeah. So last season's hulls. And instead of just changing the campaign, keep the campaign going as it is. But once they've done it and they've got it out of the way with the stuff that they actually research themselves in their own things, they can almost have a time shifting jump, you know, to last year's tech, which then makes them sort of in a position where they can go, well, I can do a bit of FM. I can actually take some of the lower targets in the TLCs. I can take some of the lower targets in, you know, Bounty as well. And I can definitely take some of the lower targets, tier 5 stuff in the raids. And that would take probably 3 months to get up to speed from never actually playing the game till about 3 months in, 4 maybe. And you better compete in everything at a base level. At the moment, there's some massive voids in the game in key areas that you can't progress as a low level new starter. It's just not possible.
I just checked with my lower level friends, and they both were saying they had OP7 way before they had the icebreakers.
Yeah,
You'll have all that done before you've got your icebreakers even near built.
but wouldn't it help them a lot? Don't you
Hey, my
think?
base is under attack.
Oh, you're getting hit. Come on, share it.
Yep.
Come on, do it live on air. You know you want to.
Let's hopefully I don't crash.
You know, I mean, I can log back on my game if you want to. And the ones in the campaign tower that you have a look down, there's 7 or 8 or 9 different campaigns there. But you look down to the darn things, and the prizes. You know, if anyone was to come in these days and do those prizes, it's just not worth doing. It's just not worth it. You know, if you could just literally say, right, well, this is the prize for this, and this is the prize for that, and just give away last year's tech, and then those people can just jump straight into it. I think it'd be crazy. Oh, look at you, UAVs. What's he got there? So is that? I can't see it. Is it all witch doctors at the front? Is it?
Looks like it.
Looks like he's breakdancing to me. He's jumping backwards and forwards.
Yeah, he is.
I'm not sure what's going on there. What the heck's that all
Holy
about?
shit. I don't know. I might have just froze.
Yeah, you're going to have a flash crash in a minute, I reckon.
Yep.
I think have a refresh and see what happens, maybe. Oh, no, he's definitely had a...
10, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11.
Yeah, you're on a flash crash, yeah.
Shit. All right.
Oh, dear.
I better see here.
Oh, well, it happens.
He's not a very good driver there.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, we're waiting for that. But I mean, you've had a couple of people, like you said, at low levels that have come back into the game. Where are they at the moment then? Because didn't you find there was a natural block they couldn't get further forward?
The PvP gap is too much. You know, you're having to get basers in bounty, but you need PvP hulls to do it. But you also need to grind a lot of targets. So to do that, you need to get in the raid. The store raid, yes, was helpful, but if you don't get help with the store raid, you're not getting all the items that you need either.
So to get anywhere decent, you've got to be in alliance or at least in a friendly
you're
sector.
gonna have to have help. There's no way without help I can say that you ever succeed in this game at all. You're just gonna run into a massive blockade and just give up the will to live. It's at the moment it's a lot to do with them pushing the content out. You're just getting too much at one time. You're never going to have the time to build it. But as well as that,
my laptop.
any ship that they put into the raid is always 2 or 3 months behind. And in them 2 or 3 months, you've got a huge amount of items coming out. So the hull you're going to have is going to be garbage for hitting any base with, say, any of the new turrets. It's just anyone who's not going to have the time for it. If you're a new player, you're not going to put the same amount of coin in as an older player is going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a friend of mine that he quit playing a couple of years ago, and he came back because he got he still had a lot of coins on his account, and he got mana cores. He got an email that he got free mana cores, and decided to go back into the game. And I'm like, he's like, what can I do with these? And I'm like, nothing. There's nothing you can.
Flies. You can't even get titanium.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems silly because there's nothing he can do with them in the game at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on my laptop too. I wasn't getting it to load, so I threw it on my laptop.
Yeah, if he had gotten Inferno Dragons, then I could have told him how to progress forward. But he's like, so I'm better off with my old stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you're better off with your old stuff than trying to use the brand new ships that they gave you.
So did he leave with icebreakers? Is that what he had when he left, roughly?
No.
All right, he's going back in my base now.
We can't see it loading, Jamie. Sorry,
I know. I'm trying to load.
you locked out. So what did he come back in then, Heffy? What ships did he have?
I guess he left about 3 years ago. He had like
All right, there we
berserkers
go.
and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he just gave up. He's like, I'm not dealing with this because he's like, I'm not going to go
All right,
grind
he's
all this
giving me
stuff again.
defense taps now. Coming in and coming out.
He's trying to bump up your points. That's what he's trying to do, and then hit you properly.
Maybe. Let's see.
Or he just fails to go in at the right area. It's about to leave again.
Because he maybe some people like to make you use up your storage slots, so you use them up so you can't, and then they'll come and hit you the day after, sort of stuff, knowing that you can't bank. That's another sneaky thing to do as well.
Yeah. Just while we're talking about the lower level progression.
Yeah.
Jeremy's just come in.
Yeah, hi, buddy.
Would you like to share any experience you've got with upgrading and progressing through the game since you've come in relatively new?
Yeah, well, as of right now, I got the icebreakers, but I only got them because I purchased 3 of them, and then I built the last 2 afterwards. But now I'm at the point where I got to build the Inferno Dragons, and I can't do it because I had to build the Skyfires originally,
Mm-hmm.
then the Mana Cores, and I just finished those. I'm trying to finish my prototype fleet, so I'll have something for the raid coming up. And then after that, I got to build the Razor Tails. So that's 4 fleets before I can even think about starting my Inferno Dragons.
Preliminary. And so 4 fleets, let's just say it's 4 fleets. And if you're just doing it in normal time, 4 fleets, just to say it's 60 to 90 days each one. Yeah, there's a year.
Yeah. And
then
plus,
we'll be on to the next thing after. I mean, don't forget, dragons are due for something else. They said that I don't quite sure. We've got a new team now, so I'm not quite sure whether they're gonna. And they were sort of pondering on the idea of maybe they bring, Garrison back into the cycles. And if they do, then obviously that would be due probably spring next year, which is about right time anyway for the next stage. Because 6 monthly, it's supposed to be the update of what happens in the FM, ship-wise. So we'll be on to something else. So by the time you get to that, dragons won't be the thing that you'll want.
and the also thing is, before we get to that, I'm going to have to build a siege fleet as well. Because I've got ironclads at the moment. And because they were cheap and they worked for the last siege fleet.
Mm.
I've got Buccaneers. I've got 4 of the hulls built and no boon and nothing else on them. So I'm going to have to either get that fleet finished or wait until the end of the skirmish cycle and get the new fleet. So that'll push my Inferno Dragons back even further. And by that time, like you said, the new fleet will be out and I'll probably have to scrap them all together. And
Flipping heck. What a mess.
And that's before PvP.
PvP. I mean, we have a score. I mean, it's sort out your FM first. From FM, you move to raid, and from raid, or in fact, no. To be honest, it's now because there are so many of them. It's almost like it's FM first, TLC second, raiding third, or a joint second, and then moving on to PvP.
But if you're starting new, you have to prioritize FM then raid, because you need to be able to do the raid to get the items to do the TLCs.
No, I get you, but sometimes there's some TLCs out there, and there have been a couple of helpful ones, co-op ones, that sort of stuff, where you have to miss a raid, but then you can go back to do the TLCs, with somebody else or at a lower level sort of stuff, because I mean there are a couple of things out there that are quite good to do, if you've got Skyfires that Manticores can't do and that sort of stuff. There are some other TLCs out there that, not that they help you progress forward necessarily for the following year. You'll still be in tier 5. So how do you bust through that barrier where you then can accelerate on, apart from waiting a whole year and then hopefully sitting down and gluing yourself to a chair and doing it 24/7. I mean, there was that guy, which Robin said about it. He was, to get his dragons, he was busting himself with a Punisher and a couple of Citadels, and he basically hit the lowest target, and he managed to eventually get what was the Dragon flagship, 9 million, wasn't it, or something like that in the FM?
Yeah,
At
9
one time.
million.
And he did it all on the lowest level target. 9 million points on the very lowest level target, so low I don't even know what the number is, to be honest.
41.
Yeah, 41s, that's it, yeah. Can you imagine how many targets he must have hit to do that?
Far too many.
A phenomenal amount. But, and hats off to him. He did it and got himself the flagship and got himself the normal one. I don't know if he's finished building his fleet. But, I mean, that was a one-off chance to do that. Which,
1,800 targets.
Is it? Good God. How can you do that in 4.5 days? I mean, it's just, what? That's painful. I know he said he had, I think he had 2 Zealots or something, which he was altering one and then hitting another one using a Punisher, and, oh my word, that's just nuts, isn't it? I mean,
That's the condition.
that is almost a compulsive condition, isn't it? I can remember, I have to say, when the very first 2 raids came out and that sort of stuff, and the HH was there, and I was thinking, this is a game changer, and I'm going to make, and yeah. And then when we had the ECM, little ACM held the top 3,000, got one, and nobody else did. And I can remember sitting, up all night and making sure that, I got one. But life's moved on, I'm afraid. I could not do that anymore. No way. Just
Okay.
couldn't do it. How'd you get on, Jamie? Are you done?
Oh yeah, I got accused of driving.
Yeah, whatever. It's bounty. Who cares? Everyone's
I
a
wasn't
NASCAR driver.
driving; it was autoing.
All right. Well,
I
he
had my
didn't.
ship set to auto. He gave me 400 bounty.
I was going to say, you've got your OP's not dead there. So.
Oh no.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job.
Who cares? I mean, everyone accuses you of everything if they lose, so it doesn't matter. Well, to me, it doesn't matter anyway. I mean, other people would say differently, but well, look, you've even got some comms chat as well. Look, so
Did I?
didn't you get? Has he not sent you a PM? They probably sent you a
Oh, yeah.
PM and slated you as well. So they're always good fun. But yeah. Anyway,
Oh, he was on the live show.
well, PvP. If only it was
Yep.
ever. If only it
Life
was
goes
real.
on.
Show the log.
Shit, my
That is
ships
dead.
are already out in the water. That just gave me a little bit of a bubble. I don't care.
All right. Well, that's
Free to do my thing.
yeah, exactly that. Right. The thing I want to mention quickly, we're nearly up to the hour, but I don't really mind a little bit going longer. What do we reckon about these expert builds that are supposed to be coming up? Did everybody hear about those? It's not a person, by the way. So the idea that you can build your ship, and all of a sudden, because you can do the instant coin, and they can do the other thing, which is the expert build, which means it comes fully built with a bit of rank and that sort of stuff, but it costs you more resources. Do you think it's a good thing? Do you like the idea?
It would make it easier, so you don't have to sit there and keep kamikazing them into the VXP targets.
Is this the first? I sort of mentioned something a while back to one of the CMs, not just me, but a few other people as well, that I really just I hate VXP weekends. I think it's just a pissing norse.
Guys, it's not about VXP. Here's what I know about it. If a hull isn't completely new, okay, you can't use it on new hulls. If, for example, one of you guys wants to build a Zillos right now, you go to expert builds, and it will give you that Zillos with higher resources but lower time and some VXP on it. So it's just a way to help you catch up. Get it?
Yeah, but the point is, it's, even if you were to build those older ones and that sort of stuff, if you hadn't had this method, you'd still have to go out and rank them, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
You know,
but
It's not just for the old hulls. You've got Inferno Dragons there as well. It looks to be everything. It's just older hulls will have dramatically
reductions,
less
yeah.
build time because the resources initially to build it were much less than what we do now. So
so you mean
if you go on to
even new hulls, you're going to find them there?
No. you're not going to find like this hull that's in the bounty in it. You won't be able to. It's not new tech hulls.
Nothing new this.
It looks like it's. Well, I don't know. Is it linked to only PVE or is it also PvP?
It's all.
Okay,
it just says PvP and PvE, and
yeah, so it does. Yeah,
scrolling,
yeah, got
scrolling
you.
through it, you've got your Zelos, and then below it, you've got your Inferno Dragon as well.
Yeah, so looking at it, it's half
It's-
the build time of the Zelos, but it's only taken off a day and a bit off of the Dragon.
The newer tech will have less reduction.
The newer the tech, the less reduction it'll have.
Yes, but it's a lot to do with the resources amounts.
Yeah,
It's the more resources you add on to it, the more of a reduction you get. So, for example, you've got a Zelos there, which only cost 133 million base, and you're shitting it up to 233. That's going to reduce it a lot more.
so it's not an expert build. Basically, it's what it's saying. If you want to complete a build, I take it you've got to complete up every single slot as well. You know, because
Yes.
I mean, the ideal thing would be to build a damn thing without the armor, get the free, get the free rank. Well, not free, but it's resource cost rank and that sort of stuff. At least that gets you to a position. I mean, those are starred there, so that was the old top rank basically. That's on the Inferno Dragon one that I've got flagged up here. You know, it's so that used to be the highest rank you could get. But the problem is then. That's great, but that's only the start point. We've got to go through at least another five more tiers of rank for that. But the problem is now that's fully armored up. Even when it comes to the VXP weekend to finish him off, that's going to be horrendous. To rank then.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a false positive, if you know what I mean. So yes, you got them out on the ground and you got them free and that sort of stuff, or some rank free. It's cost you resources, but in the long term. That's going to be an awful thing for you, because ranking up ships, as you know, with armor on, is just not fun at all.
But it's not the build that you're talking about. It's a percentage for that hull specific. You don't need to put your armor on it. It'll still give you the rank.
So that's what I'm
But
saying. I
once-
mean, I haven't seen it live yet, but looking at all the ones that they've shown you there, so that one's got armor on it, that one's got armor on it, that one's got armor on it. You know, if you're allowed then to say, right, I'm going to build this Zelos, for example, and I'm going to take off these armors here, and I'm going to build the ship, that sort of stuff. It's going to come then with this much rank on it. Okay, so actually it's usable because the countermeasure is going to work. Fine, no problem at all. And actually, when VXP weekend comes up, I'll then finish off the rest of the ranking, and then I'll put the armor on myself in slow time. If that's doable, then I have no issues with it whatsoever. And I think it's a really good idea. If it isn't doable, then I think it's a dead donkey, to be honest, because I think in the long term, it'll cost you a flipping fortune.
Well, the only question I have about that, would you be able to use tokens you have built up?
Well, yeah, you would be able to if you've definitely... Oh, in fact, on the expert build, no, I doubt it.
Okay.
No, I doubt it. I think the expert build, you tick the button, and then it's basically build... Well, yeah, no, you should be able, because you should be able to tick the button, press build ship, and then do speed up, and then use the tokens. Heffy, would you think that's about right? Not sure if Heffy's still there, but that would make sort of normal sense. You wouldn't have to do build instantly, so I'd like to be able to go tick the expert button. It costs me more resources. It starts building, and then you can, speed up the build and then use and burn off some tokens. That would make sense.
Yeah, I'd say you'll be able to use the tokens. You should be able to.
Yeah. And then in the same ilk then, if you took the armor off, you could probably then build the PvP ship, although why you build an old PvP ship, I don't know, but you never know, you might want to. Leave the armor off, have the free rank and that sort of stuff. Then once it's built, because you've got your tokens, you could use your 10k ones that you get at your mega ship, rank the darn thing up, and then put the armor back on and just finish off with a couple more tokens, and it's built and done. I don't know if that's going to be more cost effective or shorter over the whole period. I don't really know, to be honest. Certainly not for the newest holes, like, building witch doctors and that sort of stuff. I don't see that's going to be a benefit, but it may. I don't know. I'm sure people will try it.
If you scroll a little at the bottom, there's a little bit more explanation.
Go on, mate. Where are we to?
Just scroll down. And let's see on notes.
Yeah, so not available for brand new holes right away.
It doesn't
Not-
apply to refits either, so
No, it's fresh out the can, isn't it? So you know, I mean, that's the question, isn't it? If you built something badly, let's just say you got a Zealous and it's really it's a stinker and that sort of stuff, and all of a sudden, or new weapons and something comes out and the build times are quite horrendous, it may be better to scrap the ship completely and start from afresh. Because it's not necessarily building the holes that takes the time; it's the changing out of the weapons and the specials that takes the time. Not that Zealous is, I mean, not the best example because Zealouses aren't allowed in a great deal of things anymore. So, but I don't know. At least I suppose you got the option of building the darn things, you know, and the fact that obviously warehouses are going up now and you can stack a load more resources in there. So while that figure of, you know, it does look horrendous on resources, it's a lot, but it's also going to make you rank up really quick as well, which people don't like doing. You know, because that's an awful lot, isn't it? That's, you know, 300 basically across the whole board there, as opposed to what? Yeah, it's considerably almost double, isn't it? Across the line. So keep doing that system as well. You're going to be ranking up really fast. Hey, I don't know.
just head a base for resources. Takes less time.
Yeah, no, exactly. Find something that's done an OP upgrade, you mean. Just go and kill the warehouses.
Yeah.
Oh, he gave me a 4-hour bubble. Sweet. I love that.
Well, now you can. 4 hours is ideal.
Shit, I'll be able to get up. I'll be prepping soon.
Go back and do some more bounty.
Oh no, I'll start prepping for anyone that needs help. And my ally.
Yeah, well, that's the that also works. I have to say. Yeah, so OP11. The summary of that is basically it kicks out on the 25th. Do you find that's a suitable time? For 25th is not a great deal going on, then, is there? To be honest. So hopefully they leave it as a dead weekend. Maybe a TLC comes out that's got lots of build tokens for base stuff. That'd be quite nice at the same time.
Now, I heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not. Aren't they supposed to be having a campaign for the other raid target? Or the other one?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so yeah, that was the other thing as well. They said before the event starts, which we know is pretty soon now, you know, because they put bounty now at the start of each month. Sorry, raiding at the start of each month. So yeah, that would make sense actually that after this bounty is closed and between obviously we've got a week and well actually about 10-15 days, you know, we've got in fact less than that now, to be honest. We've got about 10 days. So there should be a TLC or a campaign of some description that would have it's either 2 TLCs or it's going to be a TLC, and from that you can pick the opposite hull to the one you've got already, sort of stuff.
I'm looking at the BP next week post.
Yeah, has he got put anything there yet? Has he?
There is an 839 update, which is the 25th. There's Outpost 11 live, Devil Driver campaign, Heavy Metal Meltdown, and Whiplash.
What's one called? Double. Let me have a look at it. See if I can find it. Hang on.
Devil Driver.
Devil Driver.
And Whiplash. 2 separate.
Whiplash might be the one.
Yeah, that sounds.
I'm thinking they're both. You know, like Devil Driver might be for the Bat Ray, and the Whiplash for the
25th. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, got it.
Razor.
All right, you wanted to see the battle log? There's the battle log.
Go on then. What have you got? You got 400. That's all right, isn't it?
I'm just scrolling down.
Oh well.
Not bad.
It's all good fun as ever.
It's just a game.
Not to some. Yeah, you're right.
Just here
No.
to have fun.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Yeah, that's it there. So you're right. So they've got that Outpost 11 live at the same time as Devil Driver campaign, yeah, and the Heavy Metal Meltdown campaign, and then Whiplash. So Whiplash is new and Devil Driver is new. So Devil Driver does sound a bit like it's a Razor. No, it doesn't actually, does it? Whiplash, Razor tail, Whiplash. You know, I don't know. I'm making things up.
Don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know any of those. Never heard of either of those before. And you know, that sounds about the right sort of time you'd expect to see the TLCs coming out for. You know, 25th is the Tuesday. 25th is the Tuesday, and the raid is literally what 8 days. 7, 8, 9, 10 kicks in. Yeah, on the 4th, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Yes.
So it's 8 days after that.
You know, which sounds about right for.
Sounds plausible, doesn't it? Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
And they did say there would be a campaign to earn the other one
yeah, they did.
before the next raid.
Yeah. So Rum's in chat. He reckons Whiplash turn quick bat ray. So there we go. I'm not sure how that connects together, but Whiplash turn quick bat ray. Okay. We're gonna have to flip a coin here and say which one's which. Go on. Somebody make a judgment call.
I'd agree with Rum for that principle. You know, you're having to turn and run as fast as you can from the torpedoes.
Yeah. Okay. And then devil driving, you reckon? Then for the
Oh yeah, you have to drive it like a maniac.
yeah, we basically do, don't you? Because it's a blitzer. Yeah. Okay. All right then. Devil driver. Yeah. Sounds like a razor thing, to be honest. Yeah. Well, there we are. Next Tuesday. That'll be interesting. So updates and then 2 TLCs, and that's normal. TLCs do come out on a Tuesday, so.
At least there's only 3 TLCs next week, not 5.
Well, you don't have to do them all.
Hell yeah.
There's 3 this week. I'm not even touching. I can't be bothered. I'm not interested in them at all. I don't need any more tokens from Manticores. Thank you very much. So I'm not going anywhere near any of those. I'm not interested. Heavy Metal Meltdown campaign. Have we had that before? I can't remember.
Yes, we have, and I think it was for uranium.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
interesting. That's interesting.
Heavy metals for uranium.
Okay. So that'll just be a really short one, probably a couple of targets.
Yeah, that's a real easy one.
Yeah. Somebody Google heavy metal campaign and see what that comes up with. Yeah, I'm sure it's so why all of a sudden do we need uranium, lots of it, all of a sudden? Because the last time it was given out, I remember it was because there was a specific reason.
Well, you need uranium for things like top level buildings. So upgrading your OP, you're going to need it. Upgrading your warehouses, you'll need it. Then obviously they're doing an update for the Conquest Yard. So
oh god, yeah, that's true.
Even with the expert builds, you're going to need uranium on that as well.
It's mostly buildings, isn't it? They are expensive, I have to say.
My turn to be hit. Yay.
Are you getting hit now, are you? Are you going to lag out on me, or are you going to show it?
I just got hit right now as well.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and I lost.
No.
I'll probably lose too.
Did you bank?
No.
You didn't bank?
No.
Oh, what? Did you lose a lot?
I have no idea, to be honest. But I don't think so, because I didn't have a lot in the first place. I think I lost something like 2,000 maybe.
Okay, Venom. I don't think he's carrying on because he's already lost his sloths.
I don't know why he's heading to start with, because I don't have any unsecured bounty to start.
Is it somebody you've already hit, maybe? He just doesn't like you?
I don't know.
Right.
Maybe he just wants to hit you, just for the fun of it.
That would not be uncommon.
Oh, look, you've driven as well, look.
What? Done no such thing. How dare you?
How dare you drive?
How did that hull get there underneath that warden? Like, you drove it, I know you did. Avex is saying that heavy metal campaign is hunters. Thanks, buddy. Creeping around the corner, look.
Oh, so slowly.
Creeping around. I know where your sweet spot is, so let's see how it gets on.
Sort of wish he had that sloth still alive. Yeah, he just doesn't get slowed down.
No, that's annoying, isn't it?
It is, but you know, he should have been slowed the whole way.
Drive, baby, drive.
Booms. Lots of booms going on now. Look. EMP booms going everywhere. So he's got a nice tactical module on there. Look. Obviously, he's got more than 5 already.
Oh, well, who cares? Enough of
It's
that.
done.
Yeah.
Hey, right. Okay. Right. We're going to call it a night.
Wait. No, not yet.
Why?
got
What are you
your-
doing?
Have you your razor fields done?
Have I got mine done?
Yeah.
I've got some done. Why are you
Yeah.
doing it?
For
you're,
anyone,
you're better off doing bat raising there, mate, to be honest.
for anyone who has razor tails, and thinks, "Oh, I'll go hit
No, don't do
an
it.
SSRB."
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're not.
it's-
These SSRBs are not designed for the latest skirmish fleets because the latest skirmish fleets
It's not
have.
designed for
You've
one
got
specific one.
explosive weapons on there, and these are designed for concussive weapons.
I've heard that the bat rate does rather well in these things.
Yeah,
Well, why would that be? I wonder.
The razor fields don't. They don't do as well. I can't move.
It's a bit like using the manticores then in the TLC that's designed for Skyfires. It's the same problem, isn't it? Yeah, that's going well. That is.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I would
I'm
say
back.
they're very durable.
Well,
Yeah,
they're strong. You're just not gonna. That was gonna
Just don't
time out
kill
now.
anything.
So you need a combination fleet, okay? So you need a couple of bat rays in there, mate, and then 3 of those as well.
It doesn't do well.
Boring.
Don't try razor tails in anything that it's meant to do other than raid targets.
Yeah. So razor fails. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, well on bite me. That's a good one. Actually, a good answer. So yeah. So the reason, obviously, in case people are wondering, obviously, is all the targets up to this point for the last skirmish set was all about concussive damage, and obviously these ones now we're moving to a new format. Believe it or not, we've got Scourge surface ships, which is odd because it doesn't follow the pattern of the story, and obviously these ships here then are doing explosive damage, which there are. Targets out there that we are able to do damage against. But the older set of targets have only got, resistance or non-resistance to concussive, and everything else it's minimum. That's taking forever.
This is like a base hit.
Almost as bad as one of mine.
Wow.
It's almost going to time out, isn't it?
It might.
I mean, that's the first cluster. You're still on the first cluster of ships, and it's what?
I'm not making the rest of them. I'll probably
Oh,
die
you're
if I
doing
try
the
them too.
uranium one, huh?
Yeah, he's trying it.
Oh, I can do it. I can show you.
Yeah,
Have
but
you got-
not
have you
no. He's just trying to prove the point that don't go in there with razor tails. That's all he's doing.
Have you got the
Oh.
bat race?
Have you got a bat rays? Have you?
I've got Razor,
Oh,
but
don't-
I've got the Proto-Tide Seekers. that
I've
I-
got-
Yeah, I've got protos. It's just that.
If anyone's got the bat ray done and wants to show it, go ahead.
I've got 3 batteries built.
That's
Show it.
Probably enough.
No, that's no, because you need the bonus effect of the stuff, but you can move. You're not locked down now. So you're worried about the ice fields. Have you not got any attack focus on there at all?
I think I did.
Really? And you couldn't even move.
The only thing that's gonna do the ice fields in the new target's lat, and you're supposed to be shooting it down anyway.
Our base is getting.
Ah,
Well,
but not
well,
when
you
you got
can't-
the one. Not when you got the one set of ships, and you want to go in then and hit the opposite one of the the elite S targets, because then you got those torpedoes coming in. If you don't knock them out, then they blow up and make a mess of you and cause ice fields, don't they? So.
True.
Well, I believe they do. I don't know, because obviously the only time we've seen so far is those torpedoes coming in against the bat rays, and the bat rays kill them off. So we haven't got a clue yet. I'm guessing they they may not. They may just cause raw damage. I don't know.
I thought the way that they explained it on Kickstarter Live is the first set, the long range ones of aren't supposed to really do any damage to a completed ship but they do put down what they call temporary ice fields or short-term.
Yeah,
ice
that's what I
fields.
was thinking. So if the ice field then does that stun effect and then turns you down that, there's that 1 second kill off time, isn't there? So yeah, I've got a funny feeling that, going into if it's like this, based off this, taking razors into the bat target is going to be no fun whatsoever. And vice versa.
Later?
Yeah, without attack on, yeah.
Yeah.
And Venom's got attack insulator on those.
I think.
Oh, you
I'll have
think?
to check. I'll have to check.
Well, it will make a slight difference because it's 50% resistance, isn't it? So, right, let's go across the board. We'll finish off because it's not exactly the most exciting weekend. Bounty is bust as far as I'm concerned, and it will be for another couple of months. Even more so next month because, we're going to have the OP upgrade, and some people will just coin it, and then they may as well just take everything out of the way and just leave the OP all by itself because I don't think anybody better kill a down OP then.
Did you guys cover any of the refactor while I was making some dinner?
What did we say about refactor? We just said no, we didn't actually make, not this time.
Okay, well, because there was a little bit of a news blip with Wrong Thinker saying that yes, well, he took a long time to say it, but that they are going to remove the resistances from our turrets and buildings.
We don't know that much about the refactoring anyway. All we got is generic statements like, we did our best that you have all the material and stuff like that. It sounds like political campaigning, but we don't know what the refactoring is, to be honest.
It sounds to me like Brexit, but just in a peace. but I have no idea what's going on.
He did address that point in their live show, and basically said yes, that at least the way I understood it. I had to watch it a couple of times, just because of the way he,
I'm still waiting.
Yesterday, he uses a lot of words to not say a lot, but he did say that they're going to remove their resistances and I think replace them with deflection on
and
our
retrofitting. How's that going to work?
Well, I assume they're just going to change everything.
Well, that's great up until you do the next OP upgrade, and then all of a sudden, then those deflection stats won't mean shite.
Oh yeah. That's a big point. So they can keep us in line a lot better with deflection. We can't leave on really old technology on our turrets like we can now with the resistances and use 4 or 5 year old technology. We're going to be forced to use the up-to-date technology that provides the right deflection number and all that good nonsense, and do it across 24 turrets and yada yada yada.
Remember those days, Hefe, when you could just build a ship and it could do anything? Not necessarily brilliantly, but you could attack a base with it and do some FVF with it and go and collect some resources with it, and it was just one ship and it could do everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of ships like that.
I miss those days.
The MCF,
Levians, do you remember them? Levians were pretty sort of middle of the range shit. They weren't brilliant, but
Oh, Leviathans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really built too many of those. I built a lot of Seawolves. I think I eventually melted down like 3 fleets of them.
Yeah, I had a few of them.
Yeah. I had ones with layered armor, depending on different armors and different weapons on them. But yeah, I had 3 different fleets of those. But MCXs, I think I also had 3 fleets of, because you could do the Drac bases, you could hit bases, you could go in the raid, you could do fleet to fleet, you could do everything with a MCX. But yeah, those days are gone.
Yeah, it's a shame, really, to be honest. It's anyway. Let's hope the refactor brings it all back. I would just like to say personally, get rid of the split between PvE and PvP. You killed the game when it came in. Through just the need to make us have to build more ships, which is just goddamn annoying. I would rather they kill off bounty. I'd rather they just killed off, have an event once a month, the raid and that sort of stuff. Go and win a hull. And then if you're imaginative enough, you can just go and do anything with it. What is wrong with that? Keep it simple, stupid. 6 stat blocks, 1 single number in each one of the blocks, and just go and have fun.
Yeah.
It was so much easier back then.
It was easier on us, and I think it was hard on them, because that change happened after there were some people there that were on top of it since the beginning, and those people left for one reason or another. And then you started getting people that weren't quite as familiar with the game interacting, and that's sort of, it felt like this whole split PvP, split everything into classes, made it easier on them to just figure out all the ways the players could exploit it, as opposed to back in the beginning, they knew more than us. That's the reason. Like right now, I guess they have a rule of Kixeye that Kixeye players can't hit normal player bases, and that was because of the old guys that knew the game backwards and forwards.
The things we never get to see,
yeah, and also they played all the time. They played the game all the time, and so they knew it backwards and forwards. And then that's when the game sort of migrated. I think once those people left, the people that knew the game backwards and forwards and could understand how an MCX could be used here, there, and there. And then we got a group of people that didn't quite realize all the different ramifications of adding on specials, making these changes. And that's, I think, where we got a lot of the simplification of the game from their perspective.
No, I hear you, mate. And the problem is, we are, into year 8 and that sort of stuff, and just the number of items, that you can imagine if you could just open up PvP and PvE and you could use all the specials from each onto a hull and that sort of stuff. You can imagine how difficult that would be to try and control so that it wasn't overpowered, because there are some crazy things with some nice stats in PvE tech that you would love to have on your PvP ships, but you just can't have it because it's not. And same for sort of some things for turrets. It's the same thing. They block certain things, so you can't multi-stack certain items together. I mean, but we never used to have 3 slots on a turret, for example. You only ever had the 1, so there wasn't a problem. You just had either that, or that. And now it's, what's OP11/12 going to bring? Are they going to have another turret slot? I don't know what we're going to do. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
anyway.
And back then they had the mindset, the only ships that have, only a flagship or a really special ship could have 4 specials because they wanted to control what they could do. And now we're, next thing you know, we're probably going to have 7 or 8 of them. I mean, I don't know, that power creep in the number of specials really opened a bag for the players to find different ways to use, like we said, one hull, like an MCX. Imagine an MCX with 6 specials.
Yeah. Well, there weren't 6 specials to put on it, were there? So
no, there's only 3. That's why they were trying to keep it to 3, because once you start upping the numbers, then it's what the players could come up with becomes wilder and wilder and more extreme towards one thing. And we didn't have stacking problems at that point either. You could stack this with that, and you could stack everything together pretty much. But yeah, that's when a lot of the constrictions came into the game, when they started increasing the number of specials.
Yeah, I mean, well, anyway, let's see what they bring. I mean, I just don't know. They're being, whilst they're telling us certain things, they're being very cloak and dagger about other things. So it's, I find it interesting, to say the least, on where we're going with this. And then the very fact that obviously OP11 has been forced out, I don't like it. But the key elements of it, apart from resources, have still been held back, obviously because refactory is not ready. So the refactor's not ready. So, the whole thing isn't ready then. So
one thing with this refactor I'm hoping for is they let the players be creative again. They've taken that away. The player creativity and made it cookie cutter fleets.
Well, that's because, and I really find autoing distasteful personally. I like to, one of the things that really introduced me into this was not, you could actually use your mechanical mind and go, I can create this and make this and make this, and now I can go out and drive it and test it, sort of stuff. The fact that the app is in there and it's creeping towards encouraging people to, auto everything, I really just like that personally. That is not how the game started out. Everything was driven, that sort of stuff. The problem is with autoing is coming in because you need to hit so many freaking targets. It's the number of targets you got to hit. No one autos a base. in a base hit from one good alliance to another good alliance, why would you go and auto stuff in PvP, PvE? The simple reason is because there's so many freaking targets you got to hit. If you only had to go and hit six or 8 targets, you better drive them completely skillfully and that sort of stuff with a good skilled hull, and that got you to the end result, that'd be fine. But that's not the case. You've got to hit, like that poor guy, 18,000 targets or whatever it is and that sort of stuff, and you've got to do it over and over and over again until your blooming arms drop off. Well, you're going to want to auto it, aren't you? Because no one's got that much time to sit there in front of a freaking screen for hours on end, to get the basics. It's not as if it's a challenge, like the ECM hole, like I said earlier on, it's the top 3,000 people and you all rush out to get it. And, if you didn't sit there and get another target and you'd watch the counter going up and go, right, I need to do another 10. But we're talking about the basic stuff here, FM and basic raiding and that sort of stuff. It's just freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't always rosy as far as hitting target after target. I mean, I won the first raid in Sector 1, which was originally supposed to be a 24-hour raid. And it's winner take all.
Yeah.
And so I was signed up to stay up for 24 hours. Mm-hmm. And then after 18 hours, they decided to extend it to 36 hours. So I stayed up for 36 hours hitting salvages with Seawolves. So you guys are complaining now. But back in the day,
I did the first raid, mate. I was top in my sector for the first 3 raids. Mm-hmm. It was only the person that was top in the sector that got it, So I had some good stuff, I must admit. Like I said, I had the original Dreadnought.
Nowadays for being top in the sector.
Original Dredge. I didn't get the battleship because my mate had that. We were best buddies and that sort of stuff. So like I said, he went and hit other people's bases so they couldn't do the event. For me, I did the same thing for him.
The battleship was top 4. It was the HHA,
HHB.
Oh, was it the battleship was the third one?
Yeah, it was HHA, HHB, then battleship, then Dreadnought on BC, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it was Dreadnought. Dreadnought is when they went to the top 4. That's when it was the Revenge Raid, where you can actually call up targets. Yeah. That was top 4.
Well, I got the HHB. No, HHA. I got the A. He got the B. He got the battleship, and I got the Dreadnought. And then we both got the BC. I think it was. I think it was because it went to 4 people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And good fun. Good fun back in them days. Like I said, and I used to put Ripper cannons on my Dreadnoughts.
Well, the HHA, the HHB, the HHB was the better haul. That was the first Blitzer haul that we ever saw.
Yeah. Quick,
with the combat speed of 12.
Which is funny now. Imagine that. Can you imagine actually driving around with a combat speed of 12? Oh my god.
Yeah. You can put T-35S on it, and engine 3. You're all good.
Yeah, and that was fast at the time.
But things like that, we could have some fun, because you could blitz and people were doing FVF with blimmin' the yellow blimmin' hammer, because it was quite a good blitzer and that sort of stuff. And I can remember people chasing down Seawolves and stuff with the darn things. It's just like, funny days. And like, as you're saying, putting on certain cannons and that sort of stuff. But
oh, I forgot it was killing everyone.
I don't know. Anyway, we didn't have a gunboat event, just like that. Maybe it's the HHB event, or something like that. It'd be quite good fun.
All right. Why is my thing not working?
Anyway, right. Okay. That's enough for tonight, I think. I think we'll pull the plug there. That's an hour and a half. I think we're done. Thanks all for tuning in. Obviously, Bounty will go through. There's a period of time to reclaim all the prizes, that sort of stuff. Game update will be announced, that sort of stuff, but obviously they'll run things out during the week. 25th is obviously a very important day. Clearly now, obviously, we've got some TLCs coming out, which we sort of know what's going to happen. And obviously, this OP11 run out. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting week next week. People will be running around getting resources, lots and lots of them, I believe. So I think there'll be more base hitting going on during the week than there will be probably on the Monday. But we'll see. Let's see how it goes. Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. And thanks for those in chat. It's been good fun. Take care.
And have fun being pre-op for a couple of days.
Bye.
Later.
Later.
Okay. Good night, everybody.